Hello there, this is Photius playing Grim Dawn. We are back with our Vitality Bone Harvest caster. After the last things we did, we were heading for the Shaper of Flesh to get rid of him. In the meantime, we are going to sell some of this stuff from inventory because I don't think I need it. Let's see. These gloves, just attack speed, but they're better piercing aether. Hard to say. I don't care for this or this. Okay. Just getting rid of some stuff out of the inventory here. Kind of wondering why I'm not using those. Must have forgotten about them. Okay, well, let's get these on.
Put it to good use.
And then we'll continue.
Tinkering is my specialty.
Alright. The add-on. Put those on. And Speakable Invocation would be pretty good. I don't think I want those. I've got 2 Vilescorn boots. Do I want to use either? Both give Aether, but I would be down on cold resist if I do that, so I gotta be careful with that one. These boots, you get Aether and Elemental, so it would probably, yeah, it'd be enough, just barely, to keep me going, but I do lose Bone Harvest points. That might be okay. A Dark Flame chest guard would be pretty solid as well, but I lose Chaos. Okay, we'll just think about those, but we'll continue on for the time being. Probably should spend some points here. We're going to pop some into Spirit. And Physique, we're going to need that to wear things. We'll just do that. We'll leave 10 available. Alright, let's get going. Alright, back to Crown Hill. We'll have to kill our way through a bit of a legion of guys here as we head in. You know what? I don't want to go this route. The reason I want to go the other route is fight, what's her name? Antarexia, whatever her name is. So we'll go through the middle. Clear folks out. As we move on in, we're going to go get the Shaper of Flesh, and then we're going to head... I think the way I want to do this is after I am done with Forgotten Gods, going through that the first time. What is going on here? Oh, that's a weird angle. I can't hit him. There we go. I think the way I'm going to do this is get through Malmouth here. Get this all set. And then we are going to, we don't need that. We're going to head on to Forgotten Gods, get through that. And then I may go ahead and kick everything into Ultimate from there on. That'll bring us through things quickly, but also get to the point where we can, you know, actually search for much better gear, which won't be too hard. And the goal here was to get this, which is going to need... I gotta finish up Raven. Okay, good. Hello. Just pop everything and... I'll just go through her. Her comet hit the roof. Don't think anything here is going to be useful to us. But I don't want to get stuck on the stairs. We want to move on through. My apologies if I'm a little quiet. I've had a bit of a tiring weekend. So I'm just trying to get some videos in here because I'll be going out of town for a few days with the holiday and don't really want to leave things hanging if I can avoid it. So don't think we're anywhere close to getting through Forgotten Gods tonight unless I really rush, but I don't know if I'm really in the mood to rush like that. Okay, we're just gonna head on through. This, I am gonna get to the end of Malmouth fairly quick here. So I think in the next 15 minutes we're gonna have that completed. And then move on. Alright, sorry for any delay there. It should not appear like a delay to you all. But we've got a cat that he likes to meow until someone lets him in. And then he comes in, and if you keep him in here, he will not like that, and he wants to leave. He basically just wants to come and go as he pleases, which is understandable. Now, hopefully I can show a couple things in here that, you know, if you're newer, you may not know. Just because there are some, like, nice-to-haves in here. What is with this guy? Okay. He's not going anywhere. Alright. I kind of like going this way because there's a couple of... I don't know exactly what they're called. They're like flesh chests or something like that. They're basically little troves, and they're pretty good for the items they drop. Not there. A little further up, I think. Yeah. Oh, there's a devotion shrine in here. I'll need to go. I'll want to go get that. That's especially good right now. Because Forgotten Gods has 5 or 6 devotion shrines. So we'll be grabbing those, and then Elite will clean them up. But right here, if you see on the map where I'm at, kind of came in here, down the hallway, up this way. There's this. There's one of these here, Flesh Warp Stash. So that dropped a good bit of items, right? We got Doom Touch out of that. Those would be good if we were doing Chaos or Aether or Doom Bolt even. They're nice anyway, because Doom Bolt does some really nice damage just to have it randomly go off. They give me cast speed, elemental resist, so those could be okay, even though they don't give me damage. They do give me some resist that might work. Those gloves aren't bad. They are basically my gloves, but with cast speed, so we'll grab those. Alright. Tear this wall down, and there's another one of these back here. As I said, these drop pretty good drops. And, okay. Head on out of this. There's 1 or 2 more in here that you can get. Can't get across there, so you gotta come back this way. Oh, Honor with the Black Legion is very good. You definitely want to get to, no, we're past Respected. Next here is Revered. Yeah. Some bookshelves here. You could drop some books. That's good if you have missed some. Just some extra experience or extra lore if you're just looking for the information. And around the corner here. Now, of course, you got these guys. Now, I might be mistaken. I should have seen the totem or the shrine by now, but maybe that doesn't spawn in normal. There's a lot of shrines that are available in other difficulties and not normal, so it lets you do things like start the game in ultimate if you want, which is dangerous as heck, but it can be done. Might be nice to do that on a hardcore run sometime. Something powerful I know would work, like Force Wave, for example, but do it on hardcore in there so that if I die, I don't feel like it's a big deal. That's a nice offhand. Too bad I'm not using offhands. Okay. Alright, so this door, I don't know if you can go through in normal. Doesn't matter. We're gonna go in this room, and if you want to go into the, check out the Shaper of the Flesh's office, there's this thing in front of you. This doesn't look like you can do anything with it. You can destroy it. So you can walk on in here, and there's another one of these hidden Fleshwarp spoils. So Valscorn bracers aren't too bad. They also have Aether and cast speed and vitality damage. Those are pretty good. Destroy everything in his office. He has a grandfather clock in here you cannot destroy. I don't know what that's all about. Must be a secret. No, probably not. Probably just doesn't have the qualities destructible. Now I'm going backwards a bit because I thought there was a devotion shrine in here. Maybe it's on the other side. Oh no, it appears here, but it's not in this difficulty. So that's fine. We'll just move on out. So hop that if you have to. Grab a chest here and there. Let's make our way out of here. Jump through walls, like a normal person would. Oh, okay. This guy with the little purple, no smoking symbol above his head? Yeah, let's call it that. No smoking symbol. They can throw a orb, and it makes a loud sound when they do it, that will shut off your buffs. That's really bad. Most builds are going to get a lot of resistance from their buffs. So, if nothing else, it's going to lower your resistances. And if you're doing something like, let's give a really good example. So, what is it? It's an occultist skill. That's a really good buff that heals and gives you regen and offensive ability, and it gives an enormous amount of poison acid resistance. Can't remember the name of it. Blood of Dreeg. That's it. Blood Dreeg. So Blood Dreeg gives you all those buffs, and it gives something crazy like 130% poison acid resistance, which is incredible. But you're going to be tempted with that to build less poison acid resistance because you're getting an enormous amount from that buff. So why would you do that? You'd be like, no, I'm gonna get not poison acid resist. I'm gonna get all my other resistances nice and high, and that's going to be, buffered by Blood of Dreeg, right? Well, those guys, they crack you with an orb, they turn Blood of Dreeg off, you lose regeneration and offensive ability, that's bad enough. And you, lose a chunk of damage out of it, but you lose your 130% resist, and you go from something you can completely rely on to 0% resist. You get ticked by one little speck of poison acid, you take 5 times the normal damage from it, and that's a one-shot. You're just blown up instantly. This guy is he confused? I don't think he could be confused. Okay, well, bye Krieg. That's Krieg Part 2. I find him not impressive. It's very strange to put Krieg in here and have him, not talk to you. And not be dangerous. Just be, a regular flesh shaper sort of dude. Anyway, we're going to continue on. There is one little chest I found the other day. I actually didn't know it was there. It's another one of those flesh warp chests. Or spoils or whatever. But it's hidden kind of in a little nook. Oh, there's one. One of those chests just sitting there. Ruby Ring of the Boar. Poison. Okay. That's some resist on it. Might be something we can make use of. But as you can see, we're starting to do okay damage with the skill we can just spam. These guys are just getting run over by it. But we're in veteran. It's not that crazy. And it does rely on them hitting us, so we get the resistances going. Okay. Is that good? Nah. Has vitality damage, but we're not hunting for damage. Where's that ring? So this is Physique Spirit. Spirit's good. Regeneration. Energy regen is really good. Okay. That is a viable alternative to a ring we might have. We are over on Aether Resist. And a little low on those, but we had something that added a bunch of Elemental Resist. That could have worked. Where was it? The boots? No, the boots gave Aether. So that's one way to cover it. The gloves. So I lose a little bit of Aether, which I can afford. Lose a little bit of Pierce, which I can afford. But I get 22 Elemental Resist, Doom Bolt, and I can pop this ring on, which is Vitality, Poison Acid, which is low, and Pierce, so that'll cover some of the Pierce resist we lose. Now I lose 2 points of Bone Harvest, so let's consider that. But I will get a much more cast speed. Okay. I think I see that being okay. The Runefather Signet's also not very good, but we have like no chaos resist at all. Like that's giving us 19, this gives us 20. That's 39%. It comes from these two pieces, and that's it. This extra vitality will also let us take off this and put something like with energy on it. For example, this, we don't do elemental, but the extra energy regen is just going to be huge. So I think I do want to do that. Let's see about pulling the trigger on that now. Oh, this I can't because I have to be 58. Let's consider a short-term alternative. Forgot I had these. Those are pretty good gloves as well, which would bolster chaos resist a bit more. These back here. And what does this give? This gives a lot of elemental, but I lose. There's my other 20% chaos resist. It's on those 3 items. So we're kind of stuck unless we can get chaos resist another way, which I've been kind of skimping on what I should put on. Alright, so this is just the big point of consideration. So I'm going to put this back on. We know we can use these two. We will use them. I would like to use this, but if I use that, I've got to get chaos resist somewhere. And I don't know where I'm going to get it. Not right now, anyway. Yeah. Okay. Let's lay these guardians out here. Okay, where was it? Here? No. A little further. There we go. It's down here. So I accidentally destroyed some of the little things that were over there. These guys are just coming one by one. Stop it. Stop moving in one by one. Alright. Nope. Physical Nather. Let me down there. I saw the chest. There we go. Hidden Fleshwarp Soils. There you go. Got some there. Coifa Squalls. It's, I could definitely use a bit of a better helmet. Alright. This guy, probably in the next expansion, this guy will matter. We'll just let him go. Why not? I don't think there's anything back here. Oh. Well, there's that. Interesting. Now I'm sitting here searching because I never really looked hard. Alright. Well, we need to go find the other boss. Kill him. I think it's one more guy. Oh, here he is. We'll know pretty soon if this is right. Very nice. Cerulean shard. That's an amulet we're probably not going to use. And that's the Guardians. Alright. I was just seeing if there's anything else I might have missed. Alright, we're going to go fight Shaper of the Flesh. Now, I'm not so hyper tanky I should tank everything he does. I am tough. Tough for my level. Let's put it that way. Okay. Take him out, continue with our... Ooh, man. But we are doing nice damage to him, as you can tell. The extra range helps us stay back a little bit, although if I was closer, I'd get more of my resist reduction on him. Really? I'm in his face for a reason, because I just put my debuff on him. Remember, we're in veteran, so... Ow, that's a lot of damaging things out at me. Alright. Second form down. He's got one more. This one here, he's gonna like swoop off the screen sometimes, mess everything up. When he swoops out, we're gonna dodge out of here. Dodge or leave, whichever we got. Oop, get out of that. That sunders. We still hit him from here, looks like it. Alright. Yeah, you don't want to stand in that pile, it does sunder. That's it. Easy build. He drops this thing. Warped Heart. Theater of Marcel. The interesting thing is Flesh Warp Strikes acts as a auto attack replacer. So it's a kind of an interesting thing, but you have to use this weapon, so you're kind of stuck with it. But this one has some decent benefits and at least has good attack speed. That's about it. Alright. Pop these. I've got these tunnels. I haven't really found anything in the past. A bunch of enemies come out of them and it just does a lot of damage to you. So, alright. Chainmail. Interesting. Good armor. Aether Still Arbiter, that's a mace. Okay. This chest here. So the first thing to kill him to get like an extra chest. So not really anything to write home about. And we're essentially done. We're gonna warp back. Well, it's gonna warp back to the Steel Cap District. We'll see if they have anything else for me. I'd like to, finish up anything I can here, get all the faction experience I can. Oh, I don't think I didn't do them on this memory. We're gonna go do that real quick.
Tell me. So we can't afford to
Okay, what do you give me? Dawnshard Pauldrons. Aether Resist. I just pop these on. These have a bunch of 8th resist. The Soulwell's not too bad.
We've been preparing to... I'm talking about the Black Iron Docks.
The Black Iron Docks. There's that one too. I think I want to do that for the faction rep, so we're going to probably go take a little detour and do that. I do need to raise Veil of Shadow, but 4.7 meters is not too bad. And continuing our plan of Spectral Harbinger. Yep, Spectral and Harbinger. Okay. So I'm 55. I do need to Yolanda's thing and then go to the docks. Well, I'm glad I blew the hole open because that'll make the docks a little faster to access. We are going to go to Crown Hill. Go backwards. We're just going to grab Yolanda's memory real quick. I think I'm going to just give this to her for now. The build is, at this point, the build is feeling really good. I think even if I permanently lost the 2 to Bone Harvest there, it wouldn't be the worst. If I felt like I wanted it back, it would be pretty easy to get back. These guys aren't posing any issue at all. Although, I do worry about my Chaos Resist, because I'm pretty sure that's going to get tested sometime soon. Alright. Vonda's memory. Oh, wait, there's a chest back here. I probably already got this, so it may not be there. We're just gonna see. Yeah, the gold one's gone. Gold one, I'm pretty sure, is a one-shot that's back here. So if you don't know what one-shots are, it does say in like the tips and stuff what one-shot chests do, but basically they give you a blue. They're guaranteed to. That's not a huge prize. Early game, it's nice just to force it every so often, but late game it doesn't matter much. That does remind me, I was considering doing a blues only run. The tricky part of it is the early game, so I may have to make a special rule for that. But blues only would just be I can only use blue items, and like essentially as I find them. So I need to pick some build that doesn't require anything at all, really. The problem is, like, you'd be like, well, I want to use spells then, because, you know, spells aren't going to require anything. I could do that. I feel like that would kind of be boring. I think I would rather do something that, like, requires a weapon. So move toward a certain amount of damage, but I would be limiting myself because I also am not going to use like MIs, for instance, so that might be some other way to balance it. Okay, we're going to head out of here. We're going to take our shortcut that we blew up last time, so you know, I get to show you where that's kind of useful. Now, you can go through Crown Hill, but it probably takes a while to get where you need to be from the Crown Hill portal. This is probably faster. Another thing I've been interested in is figuring out like speed runs with Grim Dawn. I'm not the fastest, I'm certainly not, but like learning what class combination works well for it and like routing. And I've learned some interesting things too, like just to kind of give you a did you know that if you have a person that you want to come into a difficulty with you, say Elite, but their character's not in Elite, their character's stuck in like normal, but you're just about to start Elite and you want them to be able to join you, and they're the right level and everything, but they have not killed the Ligurian. All they have to do is kill the Ligurian. I don't even think they have to complete like the appropriate quests. They just have to kill the Ligurian or be there when it's killed, and they are. We did that with some like a friend of ours had a build that they were in normal, and they were like the right level, like right around the light level, a few levels lower than us, but we were about to move into Elite, and they, while they were in normal and close to our level, they had not killed the Ligurian. But I knew that Grim Dawn is oddly perfectly fine in multiplayer of just giving rift gates to people. And that kind of works just because of how the game uses like the merits you get later that allow you to like skip straight to elite. It just gives you all the portals. And interestingly, NPCs will have different dialogue depending on the portal. So I didn't go the right way here. I should have gone where we blew the door up. So we blew it up here, so now we can cut through here toward the lighthouse. But the NPCs will be like, kind of like, what are you doing here? What do you want? Like, they don't give you quests or anything yet. But if you have the portal to kind of not even if you have the portal, they can take your rift gate like right into the Logorian site. If they're like in your game where you've already kind of opened it up, they can go there, and all you have to do is kill the Logorian, and it'll unlock elite and ultimate for them, so they can bring their characters there. So it's just kind of a way to circumvent that for someone who might be new that you want to get with you to elite. I've done it once before. It's worth trying. We didn't know if it would work, but I suspected the only thing holding someone back was killing Logorian. But if you're playing by yourself, there's a whole set of quests that you have to do before that opens up. For example, Creed will not move to Fort Icon until you have confirmed Karaz is dead. Like, you bring Karaz's book back. But you won't get the quest to go kill Karaz until after you have saved the homestead people that are trapped out in Bloodgrove. So there are particular steps that you can outline that would be exactly what you need to do to go along the quest. Like, for example, I think the first major one is you have to clear the first cave with that like first major enemy. You have to clear that enemy out. So you need a good skill in which to do that. For example, Force Wave would probably work pretty well for this because you do need to kill enemies. It's kind of a key point of all this. You get that cave cleared out, and then the next quest is to help the people of Devil's Crossing a little bit. So you do just a couple people's quests, like get the extra skill point, and then you have to kill the boss in the little like cistern or sewers or whatever, the Slith boss that's down there. Gotta kill them, and then you get the quest to go to Burwitch. So then you have to get the waypoint of Burwitch. So that means everything between, there and here, like between those points of Burwitch, doesn't really matter. You just have to get to Burwitch, unlock the portal, report it, and then go kill Krieg. And that will progress you to the next place. Now that doesn't mean you can't move on ahead. You actually can move pretty far ahead in the game. Like, you can basically get to Homestead without, like, being locked out of anything. You can run straight to Homestead. Because there's enemies and stuff in the way, but there's nothing really stopping you from doing it. I don't know why I hit number 5 there. I actually didn't activate. He was already dead. But, okay. This guy gotta be careful with. Get rid of him first. Okay, good. He's gone. So is everybody kind of behind him, too. That does the quest. Cool. But basically, there's like very particular steps you have to take. You basically have to complete the main quests, but like everything in between doesn't really matter. So you can actually get quite far and quickly. And I think some of the speed runs had it down to like an hour or so. So you could have Logorian as a target, and then you could have Shaper of the Flesh as the next target, which I think you can get out here pretty quick. One of the things you need to go against Barrel Home because it's probably faster to move through the cave and kill the boss at the end rather than side with them and have to do their quest where you have to run all around Odenbog. That takes, I think, a lot longer. Just getting to the boss and killing it, as long as you have the move skills, should work. Alright, I was like gonna exit, but I actually want to jump back to Steel Cap, turn this in. And the reason I did that was for the experience, but like speedruns kind of interest me because it's a little bit of like a move skill would be
Was the
good,
mission a
but
success?
what move skills
always
are
knew I had
best
it in
is
me to tell
tricky.
somebody else to do something heroic. For now,
Alright, so we're good there. Just checking where Malmouth is. Okay, we're at Respected. We could stay here and kill enemies and try to get to Honored. I'm a little tempted to do that just because there's one item that I kind of would like to get out here. It's kind of a pain. I don't think I'm going to do it right now. I may do that another time.
See anything you like?
These guys, we've got access now to some Malmouth gear for Demolitionist. That doesn't help us much. But we have some access to the level 65 gear. So we could come here and buy this at 65 and work with it. But I'm pretty sure that Forgotten Gods has similar stuff. So we're going to pop back. I think the quickest way to do this... Do I have the waypoint? I do. Let's go to Conclave of the 3. We're going to hop on in. And... Alright. I forget which cult we joined. I'll pick up all their books. But a speedrun would be interesting because, like, initially I think something with, like, shaman, so you can kill things. Best skill to do that. The best skill to do that, I think, is going to be Grasping Vines. That will carry you so fast through the initial part of the game. And then you might want to change it up after that, or at least, you know, support it properly. But it does pretty good damage. It has a set that works with it. So we got a totally normal shield up here. This is one of the shields that is not a shield. See, it says Legendary One-Handed Mace, but it looks like a shield. So that bad boy can go here, for instance. But that's not what we want. That's a nice physical damage one, though. It's counter blow on it. Okay. Nothing for us to use. What is our... Oh, it's Ilgor's. And Ilgor's is kind of bad because it has bleeding resist, and that's it. So we're kind of stuck with that. Just for the time being. At some point we'll trade that for something with like really nice resists or some other damage. Something along those lines. Alright, I am looking for all the booklets I want in this area. And then we have to assist the Bismeal cult. That's what I signed up for. That's because I wanted Leap. But that's fine.
So you've chosen to fight. Yes. I have been.
I will seek what you need. Blood of the Watchers. Okay. Back here, we're just going to look around for anything. Books and such. There's some people to talk to, interesting conversations to be had. This guy, sure. Okay, what did he give me? Rheinfrost Assault Battle Axe of Celerity. Thanks, friend. What a wonderful prize. Okay. I thought there were more books in here to get. I'm not seeing them. Maybe I already chewed through those. Okay, talk to him. Find your brothers. Anything back here we can use? Yeah, I just thought there were books back here that we could use more of them for experience. Maybe they pop up later. Maybe I've overlooked them. Doesn't matter. We need to go out the front door. Got a little chunk of experience there. We are hurrying along. Selling our items is not a huge deal. We'll just keep moving. But, just kind of give some get some insight into, you know, things I love and probably how freaking old I am, is I like to watch speedruns by a guy who does Super Metroid speedruns, if anyone's familiar. Oats and Goats. Cool guy. They have Super Metroid map randomizers now, to where they can do like random rooms. It's such an interesting thing to watch. I highly recommend watching some of his videos about them and like all the tricks they use to get through rooms and stuff like that. It's very interesting. And like, speedrunning is not something I see very much in Grim Dawn, but it's not a very big game. And I have a feeling if you knew the routes correctly and could route correctly, maybe even doing some interesting skips at certain places with particular skills. I'm thinking like to the point of maybe switching metals so that you have a different move skill at a different point. Then I think that you could get through a good portion of the game quite rapidly. Because there are tricks that have been used by speedrunners that are already known. For example, there's weird tricks with Blitz that make it chase down targets from way further than it should. Because they're initially close to you and you can hit them. And when it does that, how Blitz works is it runs to that target. So if the target is in a weird location that would take you a few minutes to kind of route around to get through the zone, it will dash you there at 300% speed. And it'll arrive, and you may not smack the target because they may have moved, but you'll arrive there. Like, it'll work. Alright. I swear some of these items in the game, like, they only appear out here when you don't need them. You will get those Viper things all day if you're not playing Devouring Swarm. See, that would be a skill that, like, if you're doing greens only, Devouring Swarm might be an interesting one to do, because there's actually several good green items for it, but blues, it would be awful, because it's kind of, it doesn't have good scaling on its own. It needs MIs to even do anything. Alright. So got a level as we went through here. I'm getting to the point where this video might be over soon. But we are just pushing those up. This area, to me, feels like a ode to the Diablo 2 like desert area, Act 2. Just really feels like that. But anyway, like back to like the speedrunning idea. It just sounds so like interesting, and there's not really any community or anything for it. It's not something anyone really does. It'd be cool to like learn how all that might work, and strategies that might be used for like weapon swapping might be important for something like that. Using certain classes might be ideal. Like Soldier might be amazing because of both Blitz and Force Wave. Nightblade might be amazing because they've got Shadow Strike, and also Pneumatic Burst gives total speed, so it gives you some like move speed early. And that could be good just for moving while your skills are in cooldown. It might be that getting the Blitz items to reduce your Blitz cooldown on Soldier is key, because there's 3 of them that you can get guaranteed, but one of them's out of the way, so it's tricky. Like, it can be received, and there's a little bit of randomness of it because of how fast you can find Bloodbriar. That might be a strategy to try. Kind of see which one works. I probably would need to, like, kind of record something and just see what I got, but, like, it's one of those things, like, if it's not within an hour, it's probably not worth worrying about too much. So, I don't know. Just an idea. And then Bone Harvest here. Bone Harvest is just tearing through things. I've just got 2 weapons to use it. Nightblade enables it. So maybe this type of build is really good for it. But maybe it's not. Maybe just like a shaman soldier, a warder, is good. Because warders get tanky anyway. They just naturally get that way. And they've got blitz available. They've got grasping vines available to them. They've got force wave available. And all that stuff works for them. So if you happen to find a good force wave weapon, you could just shift the force wave real quick and just tear through content. Or if you don't, you can stick with grasping vine and tear through content. Like, it's just, there could be various strategies of how to do it, and it might be interesting to like explore and kind of think about what would be best. So I'll just kind of throw that out there as like an idea I've had. And also like blues. Okay, so if like I did something where I was like a challenge, I'm going to only use blue items. So there's two ways to do that in my mind. You either are stuck with what you have to start with, and there's a way to... I've heard there's a way to determine that. Like, the items you start with, like a club shield or a sword shield, a dagger shield, things like that, are dependent on your character name. So I'm going to have to test that out a little bit. I've heard that before. I've been unable to confirm it since I've heard that, but it is true that different Grim Dawn characters get different items. So it'd be interesting to make builds and go through like letters A through Z and try different combinations and just see if and when equipment changes, and see if you can predict it. If you can predict it, you can probably figure out the system. My guess it has something to do with the first letter of the character's name, because that seems the simplest way to set it up, and also randomize it. And if someone named their character the same thing every time, they get the same gear every time, so they may not know there's a difference, but likely they would. They play a couple characters, probably name them something similar. Anyway, the blue items, you'd either be locked to the items you start with, and then you have to go from there, or it would be, you can maybe to make it reasonable, you can use any of the guaranteed green items, but you can only use one of them, and you can only start using it at the time you find it. So for example, Francis's gun or Galvin's crossbow, like those would be fair game, but that would be the only green you could ever use, and after that you are stuck with whatever blues you get. And if you get a blue that replaces your weapon slot, well, there goes that weapon. That might be okay. It's an interesting way to play it. That wouldn't be too slow and boring to watch. Like, just thinking about people checking it out. They come in and see someone hitting things with a white sword and shield, and that's all they do for 2 hours because there's no blues. That's a bit much. Alternatively, the other way to make it interesting is make it even harder. You can't even use your starting items. This is possible. I have tested this. I played it. You can get to Krieg with... You can get to Krieg without a sword or shield. Now, I don't mean like you just never pick up sword, shield, and pick up other gear. What I mean specifically is... Okay, that's interesting. I like the vitality resist on that, because that's one of my... Well, it's not one of my low resists anymore. What I mean by that is when you start the game, you toss your initial items to the ground, and you're punching stuff. So if you want something funny to do sometime, do this to yourself. Start the game, throw your items on the ground, be in normal, not even on veteran, definitely not elite or ultimate. Go try to fight the first enemy. What's going to happen is nothing. You're never going to kill the first zombie you meet. Their regeneration is enough to outpace your damage from fists, because the fists do 1 damage. So you'll never kill anything, therefore never gain any experience, nothing you can do, right? Well, there's enough books in the first area to get your first level. And I think if you're wise about it, you might be able to get 2 levels off books. But the key thing is you can get your first level. So certain classes are going to be able to get skills that give them damage. Now, spells, like obviously ones that do damage, yeah, they're kind of obvious. But I'm talking about like punching. Give your punches damage so that you can actually kill enemies. And I would be more inclined to start with fists, because you'd be looking for any item and see what it does, and your build would require being versatile so that you can slip into any item that you get. That armor had good resists, a lot of lightning resist at least, even though I don't like singular resists. But the point there is you could do something like Arcanist, or Arcanist, however you say it. The Arcanist has can get into Overload, or Iskandra's Elemental Exchange. So they can get into Elemental Exchange, and that will give them damage, right? Not much. They give them a little elemental damage, but just a little bit, like 5 to 6 points. That's enough. You can from there you can kill enemies. If you can kill enemies, you can farm them for a little bit and gain levels. My instinct is to have 2 suggested ways to play this. There's the Blood Watchers. First one is you keep your initial starting items, and you cannot upgrade or add items to your build unless they are blue. Simple as that. Second option is you can use the green items that are guaranteed to drop, of which there are a finite amount, a very specific amount, and that limits you to those items. Past that, you cannot use those items. And I probably wouldn't allow those items to be used if you have a weapon that can replace them. Like, because as far as I know, they're all weapons. Well, I guess one's not. So it comes from a little mini boss, but with a shield. But still, the point is, you give something to the player, that's something they can use to move on. But then that's it. That's all we're stuck with. And then third challenge is you get nothing. You start with nothing at all. You need to level, and so you get your first level, and you put that into something that does damage. Now that could be, it could potentially be like a spell, but I think more in the spirit. Okay, let me look at these. More to the spirit of things. Okay, vitality decay, poison, vitality, bleeding. These just give aether. They give a lot of aether. They just give aether. Okay. Considering. I thought there was a devotion shrine in here. Is it only in here on Ultimate? Well, anyway, like you go punching, and you're stuck punching with no other gear until you can use blues. That is a deadly challenge. Like, you are quite possibly going to die to anything, but you'd be limited to, you could use auto attack skills, you could use big hits like Amarest's Blade Burst. But nothing considered a spell. Like Bone Harvest would be right out, for instance. Couldn't use that at all. So, anyone has any comments on how they think it should be handled? My instinct is the first time I try something like that, the starting green items, and I'll make a list of them, what their names are, and you can only use the one you first pick up. That's it. So no dueling guns or anything like that. You're stuck with one. That's all you get. And those gloves have a lot of armor. Are we at that point? I guess I did hit the like 55 tier where everything's upgraded. Start with the greens, and the only items that you can use otherwise are blues. And you cannot use spells. The reason you can't use spells is a little self-evident. It'll make the early game breeze. Eventually you'll farm up a blue, and then you'll probably get through the game just fine. So I think no spells. Like, it has to use your weapon. And should it have to be in close range? I don't know. Shouldn't have to be in close range, no. Like, Fire Strike would be fine, but so would, I think, like, Blade Arc would be fine. Because the problem with Blade Arc is you might lose the ability to use it if you're using a weapon that doesn't qualify, like a blue gun or something like that. Now, you're not likely to be stuck with that, but could happen. But something like that. Alternatively, you could allow the spells and just say like it's a different category. Because the spells will be strong early on, because you can dump a lot of points into them, make sure you can clear. So it'll clear things fast. You know what? How about this? The option is either you have to go weapon or a spell. If you do a spell, you cannot use anything at all except blues. And if you go weapon, you get to use the green items. That's your option. That could be okay. Let's give a lot of Pierce. That sounds kind of useful. Was there something I was waiting on because of Pierce resist? No, these get Pierce. Let's get Elemental. What am I losing? Aether? But I can lose that Aether. Pierce? Am I losing too much Pierce by using these two together? Something like that. Maybe that's the key. So you can use spells, but you don't get the green items. So you could get really screwed on the blue items you get, or your spell might be okay. Whereas when you get the weapons, you're gonna be smoother, have a better time, but you might get locked into a weapon that you do not want. And the blues would be not like you have to use everything you find. It's more of when you get a blue, if you don't have anything in the slot, then yes, you're expected to use it, whatever it is. And if you do have something in the spot, you can make a choice. And as you level up, that's going to get more problematic. Because when you level up, you might get, say, an item that doesn't boost what you're doing, but is a lot better overall. An item has resist that you want. I would also, for the purposes of Grim Dawn, probably allow components to be used, but this would be more of a self-found expected. Crafting, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm fine with crafting and using your inventory you have. You just be self-found on what you gotta do there. Because resistance alone can get you super killed. I don't know if I would do it as hardcore. I don't know if it would matter. Easy peasy. That's a good one. Badge of Tenacity. That's an interesting one. So this is one of the few blue items. I don't believe this has a mythical version. This is stuck at 58. It just is what it is. It's just funny. Then here's one of those scarab shells. Okay. Scarab shell. Pretty solid. Okay. Go devotion point. Put that here. That's all done. Now we can finally move into Charity of the Dead. Alright. But I think a blue challenge would be good to try. I may have to nail down the rules a little bit further. But also, I wanted something that like other people could duplicate and play if they wanted to. And get a similar experience. Oh man. That is a long stun. No thank you. I'm going to link to him just in case he hits me with another stun. Which he did. Oh man. Okay. Fun. Very fun. My, my shaman build is not going to like that. Aether and Chaos and Poison Resist? With cast speed? That has to go on. I have to have this. This just straight up like this other ring I was wanting to put on. Sorry, man. You're good. Pretty sure you just got outclassed, though. That's just too much. That has to go in right now. So that got my chaos taken care of. My aether's in good shape. I could still switch the other ring, but that's 20% chaos, and I'm still not maxing chaos. So I have to consider that. Aether I can lose, so these gloves can still go on now. And I get regen, cast speed, just everything good. I just lost some bone harvest, so my damage is going to be a little lower, which is tolerable because I'm doing plenty of damage. When I say a little lower, it's not going to be that bad. We're going to see. That didn't turn on the buff. 40. I'm still at 42,000. It's just now cheaper. That's why raising bone harvest is not super effective in this particular build. Like, what does it do for you? Oh, that's another thing I didn't point out about what I've got set up right now. This is related to devotions paying for themselves. So, here. Let me get back to the devotions. So, in the devotions here, okay, I've got this, right? Bat. I don't really need bat anymore. It's been fine. I mean, I'm going to lose some stuff out of it. That's really nice to have. When I get Chariot of the Dead, it also gives 2 red and 3 green. This gives 2 red and 3 green. So as soon as I have this, I just sell this whole thing back. And that's 5 points that I can get. Now, that loses me green I'm going to need for Retosh, but it's really not that bad. I can put 3 points here and get the 3 green back instantly. And then I'm fine, because I've only lost 2 red. So I'll still have the 6, and then that will put me back up to the 10. I think it's like 11 green is what I'd be sitting at. But then, is that sound right? Let's see, I'm going to gain 3, so I'm up to 11. I'll lose 3, back down to 8, gain 3. Okay, yeah. So I could do that, or I could take the 5 points and just pop them all into Crane, get those resistances immediately, and the reflective damage reduction, and be set up very quickly to go into Scales of Alchema. Now, something I want to do here that I will show off to you if you don't know. A slight bit of a spoiler, but it involves going off the beaten path. I gotta get there first. There's a quest along the way. Alright, I'm gonna get to that point I was talking about, and then I think I'm going to stop the video once I show that off. That should only take a couple minutes. But I got to get up here to these guys. Oops, I did this wrong. Back up. Back up a little. Pop in here. I'm going to see your chest. Yep. Oh. Okay, send them home. Then there is a stairwell. Is it here? I think it's a little further in. Okay, see the stairs? The stairs over here? That's nice and all. Go by this bush. Okay. Let's try that again. Go by the bush, and you can sneak through here. And this, here. This might be easier if we can spin it around. This is an opening. Ooh. You can see it there, right? You can kind of see where you can go in. Over here it's probably even clearer. Oh yeah, see? Little tunnel in there. We just go straight through. We're in the Hidden Refuge. There's 2 notable things here. There's a devotion shrine. We're taking that. Thank you. Don't mind if I do. Fleshfiend Greaves. Those are okay. We have Blight Burst and Rotting Fumes. That's not... Let's see, Rotting Fumes, Blight Burst. That's real good for Son of Blight Fiend. Not really good for anything else we're doing. And these are Chaos Shoulders. Not really what we want. We'll take them anyway. Okay, up here. This just drops a lot of stuff. That's a nice little amulet. It'd be still good if we were doing Phantasmal Blades, but we're not. But the real prize is over here. Not this guy. It's Urn Cluster. Oh, what's this? Leo Venus's ring. This ring can be equipped at level 10. Gets experience gain, elemental resist, and all damage. That is a gem for leveling up. That is amazing. That's what you want. And just make sure I'm not crazy. I don't think there's anything in here. Nope. No nooks there. Spin the screen back. I'm sorry for the vertigo I gave anyone. Vertigo is the right word. Like dizziness it caused you. Alright, I'm going to stop this video here. This is where we have ended up in the Hidden Refuge. And I think I'll pick up... Yeah, we'll pick up here next time. Alright. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you have a great day. Take care.